Welcome back to Center Stage. We're talking with the head coach of the New York Giants, Tom Coughlin. All right, you grew up in the small town of Waterloo, New York. What was it like in the Coughlin household?
Well, it was busy. Let's put it that way. I'm the oldest of 7. My grandparents on my mother's side lived with us. Dad was in the service, came right out of the service after World War II and went to work at the Seneca Army Depot in Romulus, New York, and worked there his entire life. I delivered groceries. I shoveled snow. I did the lawns for all the widow ladies in the neighborhood and that type of thing, just to have $1 in my pocket, and that's the way I grew up. Now,
your dad obviously worked hard. Did he have any time to take any interest in your sports activities?
Oh, absolutely. My mother and father went to everything. Everything I participated in, from the time of Little League, right through parochial basketball, right through high school, 3 sports in high school. They were at everything.
Now, I read a story that after a game in your sophomore year of high school, your father said something that kind of still resonates with you.
We got beat one afternoon at home against Clyde Savannah, and after the game, I came home. One of my buddies must have dropped me off because I went to the front door of the house, and my dad was standing in the doorway, and he looked at me and he said, "If that's the best effort you're going to give, you probably ought to find something else to do with your time." And it really hit me hard, because mothers and fathers, they tell you they're watching the game, they're watching you.
Right.
And this is the way my dad perceived that particular effort that day.
Was he right?
He was right. However, my dad was right in terms of where your heart, where your mind were, because it wasn't all geared toward what I should have been doing at that point in time. So I remembered that always, about how you spend your time, but better than that, the investment that you have to make with the heart, the soul, and the mind in terms of doing things to the best of your ability.
You were the point guard on the basketball team, catcher on the baseball team, the quarterback and captain of the football team. How cool were you?
I don't think I was very cool. But I did love to play, and that was, to be honest with you, that was our whole life when I was a kid.
Now, you went to Syracuse as a running back, but in the backfield were 2 pretty good players.
You're not kidding.
Larry Zonka and Floyd Little.
2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, 2 Hall of Famers.
College and pro. And they were great, great football
players.
But
how depressing was that for you? I mean, you couldn't get carries.
I carried the ball a lot in high school. When I got to college, I figured out I better do something a little bit different. I ended up playing on the wing, and I was a blocker, let's put it that way. When Floyd was there, we had speed to the outside and we had power and strength inside. We hardly threw the ball. When Floyd graduated, and now it was Zonka's team, we really didn't have that outside speed, so we threw the ball a little bit more, and I got a chance to catch some, little flat passes and things of that nature. I tell everybody, I'm serious about this. They needed 11 guys to play. They didn't want to just send 10 out there, so that's why they sent me out.
You also had 26 receptions, which was the team record for a while.
If you could believe that,
yeah.
Michael, people would laugh about that today.
Tell me about Scissors 44 and how it used to aggravate you.
One of the great plays of Ben Schwartzwalder's career had always been the on-balance line and the scissors play, where the wing would come back, and we worked on this thing endlessly. And for a lot of years, if we were going to run the scissors, then Floyd moved over and played the wing position, and the ball didn't go to somebody that was playing wing. However, after Floyd left, then I got to carry the ball on the scissors, and thank God everybody ran after Larry Zonka to tackle him, and I could kind of wade through a little bit.
Now, I've read where Floyd said that when he was there and he took the ball and you didn't get it, that everybody knew what the play was because you were so depressed they could just read your body language. True or not?
I don't think so. Not to that bad. I wasn't, with the coaching thing coming on, I could figure it out. Those 2 guys were so far superior to me or anybody else in our program. They were going to get the ball.
At some point, because you seem like you can think things out, you're not going to be an NFL player.
No.
Did you say, okay, I'm going to be a coach?
I did.
At what point? Do you remember when?
I started probably my sophomore year in high school. And when I got in college, it was the same way. I tried to learn as much as I possibly could as a player. And then when the opportunity came, I was able to go back to Syracuse as a graduate assistant coach and have an opportunity to have some responsibility and get a start on this profession.
The only thing I could picture you being is a coach or an authoritarian figure, okay? Were you ever a wild kid? Did you ever do crazy things as a kid where they go, oh, that Tom?
Yeah. I'm not sure they did the oh, that Tom, but I had a few moments, believe me, yeah. You'd have to parade some of my buddies up here to get it out of them, but oh, sure.
All right, so you took a position in Syracuse as a graduate football assistant. The next season, you're 24, and you get your first head coaching job at Rochester Institute of Technology.
I was an assistant there, and then the following year I became the head coach. But you're right, it was 24 years old. I took that job because at that point in time, I really didn't have a lot except some high school opportunities. So I went to RIT as the only full-time person coaching, working in the phys ed department, which wasn't my major, but it was a private school, so I could do that.
I mean, you started from ground zero pretty much with that program, right?
It was.
Did you line the field too?
I did. We did everything. We had professionals that lined fields and things like that. But when you talk about how we practiced and so on and so forth out in the back 40 and what we had to do with our fields, and I used to pound the stakes in to put the ropes up to to hold people back from the sideline. But the other experiences that I had in that job, they were so beneficial to me as I started my career, particularly when I went to Jacksonville, because we started a professional football team in Jacksonville.
Did you actually pull kids off campus that were big and said you should play football?
I'd be standing there watching them walk across campus, and I'd call a guy. Are you playing high school? Yeah. Well, you should play here. Why not come out for our team here? So that's how you kind of built your numbers up a little bit.
All right, the career keeps going up, and we'll take that trip with Tom Coughlin when we return on CenterStage.